Albert Einstein says that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. And I want to illustrate this by looking at the difference between returns for stocks, bonds, and bills over the last from 1928 to 2022, about 94 years. If you would have put $1,000 in these T-bills, 94 years later, you would have had $20,000, 20 times as much. That's a 3.33% return, annualized return of 3.28. And as far as ever losing money, you wouldn't ever lose money. The worst case scenario, you only got 0.03% now through here. But bonds are a different story. Bonds, you can actually lose money right here. The worst 5 years, down 11, down 9, and so on. So the standard deviation is 7.68. We won't go into what all that means. I just want to show you the difference. What do you think you would have had with $1,000 beginning in 1928 by 2022? $85,000. Look at this, over 4 times as much, with only going from 3% to 5%. That's why compound interest is so confusing. It doesn't make sense to us. But I want you to look at another number. What do you think? Just pause the video for a second and just take a wild guess on what that $1,000 would have been if invested in 1928 after 94 years. Prepare to have your mind blown. 7,617,000. Basically 90 times as much as what you would have had in bonds. The average return 11.82, the annualized return 9.98. But I really want you to key on these two figures right here. 4.84, 9.98. Basically twice as much in stocks as in bonds. But look at the difference it made over a long period of time. Almost the difference between 85,000 and 7.617 is mind-boggling. Again, this is over 94 years. But I want you to consider, and that's what we do on this channel, what it could do for you over 35 or 40 years. Yes, you're going to have some down years. Look at this, down 43. Let me just look at this. Down 43% during the Depression, and down 35 and so on. But as we look in this channel, as you check out other videos, if you can stay in it for 35 or 40 years, if you're young and able to do that, you're going to catch all these, and it more than makes up for it. And that's why it doesn't take much money to get to $1 million if you have the time. And you can check out other videos, just what it might take to get to. We saw the minimum it would have taken is $350 a month, but we're not going to go there this morning. But I want to also consider one other thing. When you get to the withdrawal stage, let's say you've got that $1 million. Just as a quick overview here, you got that $1 million. You want to take out, let's say, between your pension and Social Security or whatever other income, you still need $4,000 a month when you retire coming in. So you want to take that out of your S&P 500 account. In 1924, you would have been just fine. This is a summary account right here. You could give yourself a COLA. Give yourself a COLA. Watch these numbers change right here. You got a little bit less money, but you're also starting out with $4,000 a month, $48,000 a year, and going down through and increasing that to try to keep up with inflation. But as we've seen in other videos, when you get a run like 1929 or something, you can run out of money so fast. Look at the differences when I click on this. Oops, out of money. So what's the answer? Because you want to be in stocks because they return so much, and retirements can last 20 or 30 years, so you want to take advantage of that. The answer, again, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just looking at the numbers, but most of them say just put, when you retire, put 60%, leave 60% in the S&P 500 because you want to have growth, that huge difference in growth between stocks and bonds, but put the rest in the cash reserve account. So when the market goes down, the money's coming out of the S&P 500, or the money's coming out of the cash reserve instead of the S&P 500. Let me show you more recent results, what we're talking about here. The year 2000 was another bad situation. You were down 9, down 11, down 22. And given this scenario, even in this scenario, you'd be running out of money, even with 60% in S&P 500 and 400,000 going over there. You wouldn't be running out of money quite as quick because you're going down through here, but you still be out of money in about 19 years. So you'd probably just wouldn't give yourself a COLA maybe, and then your money would last 20. It hasn't been 30 years yet. It hasn't been 25 years yet. So hopefully it just makes sense to you. You wouldn't leave it all in the S&P 500 once you retire. You want to have that cushion. So if you do start out with some down years, which is called sequence of return risk, it's taken out of the cash reserve, not out of the S&P 500, because you never want to sell low. And if you don't have that cash reserve account, this 4,000 is going to have to come out of the stock market. So you're selling when the market's down. You don't want to do that. We could run different numbers, but check out our channel. We have all kinds of videos showing all these things happening. I just wanted to see the difference between stocks and bonds and how you really probably don't want to give up on the S&P 500 because your retirement really lasts 20 or 30 years. So you want to take advantage of that difference between the bond 5% and the stocks 10% because over a long period of time, it amounts to a lot of money. Consider subscribing to our channel. Share this with people. Keep checking back. I'm going to keep putting these videos out, looking at all different angles. But thanks for watching.